back to your Friday Loose Women. Excitement is building in the studio for the arrival of Ollie Murs at 1 o'clock. Loads to talk to him about it, including being a coach on The Voice and whether there's a special lady in his life. Competition time now, and if your purse is looking a little bit sparse after the festive period, then listen up, because we're giving away £50,000. And not just that, a brand new car and a holiday to Mauritius. How lovely is that? Jeff Brazier is there to tell us more.
It's time for a lifestyle overhaul, so get ready to reinvigorate your bank balance and expand your horizons in 2018.
You could be holidaying here in Mauritius with £50,000 in the bank.
What an adventure you'd have!
You'll fly Club World with British Airways, then check in for an all-inclusive 10-night stay at the Heritage Awali Golf and Spa Resort, courtesy of Sovereign Luxury Travel. You'll also get to drive away in this brand new Audi Q2 worth over £25,000.
And don't forget about the tax-free £50,000 to get your finances in the best shape.
For your chance to get lucky and be our first winner of 2018, all you have to do is text WIN to 81119. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website, entries cost £2. Call 09068 781119. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to DY01 PO Box 7558 Derby DE1 0NQ. Entrants must be 18 or over. Lines close at 3 p.m. on Friday the 19th of January. Good luck.
Now, this is the story that everyone's discussing today. The parole board has ruled that one of Britain's most prolific sex offenders will be released after serving just 8 years in prison. Known as the Black Cab Rapist, John Warboys was found guilty of assaulting 12 women in his own taxi. This means he will have served less than a year for each of the crimes he was convicted of. It's now feared he could have attacked over 100 women. It's just shocking from start to finish, this entire story, isn't it? And to think then this man is out on the streets
It kind of just makes your blood run cold, doesn't it? And it makes you think of all the situations that you've been in. But I suppose we have to sort of say this was one man, and he is described as the Black Cab rapist, but we have to take that away from black cabs, because I mean that would be a really unfair thing to do. I mean, the vast majority of people driving black cabs are utterly safe and all the rest of it, but he's been identified as that, hasn't he? And it does just send shivers down your spine, and certainly me in terms of my girls going out and about at night. And well, there you go. I'm back to the taxi thing, and I feel bad for doing that.
Well,
I shouldn't
make that association. I'll just, in case you know you're not completely up to speed with this, just to sort of highlight what he did do. He would get young girls into the taxi. They may have had a few drinks themselves. He would pick them up outside nightclubs, various parts of London. He would pretend he'd won the lottery. And he was wanting to celebrate and would say, have a glass with me. But he would have put sedatives into the drink and
he could have killed
tablets.
them,
He could have killed them, absolutely. And then obviously these poor young girls didn't know where they were, and suddenly the attack happened in the back of the cab.
In terms of the conviction, though, I mean, he was convicted of 12 sexual assaults and 1 rape. And for that, he was given an indeterminate sentence until the point that the parole board decided that he was no longer a danger to women. And the head of the parole board has said again today in reaction to this, I am confident that this man is not a threat to women.
How can they be confident?
But there are other women that the police feel haven't come forward.
Absolutely.
So he served the time for the crimes that he's committed, that they've proven guilty.
He's been convicted of.
Yeah, but they need to get these other girls to come forward to keep him in prison, and they need to come forward because otherwise this guy is going to be out there. And I mean, this is the whole thing of, you know, women just coming forward if they've been a victim of it, because if you don't, then these guys are just out there and they're just
I think where a lot of the women were drugged up, they probably don't even know if they were abused or anything. They wake up and...
Well, and also you have that difficulty, and I totally get what you're saying there, Kelly, about, you know, you've got to come forward or else, you know, these people do potentially get away with less than they deserve. But it's a huge thing for women to come forward. Maybe this was 10 years ago. You feel you've moved on with your life. You're not entirely sure. You look at the criminal justice system. You see how it sometimes treats women, and you think, do I want to go back and put myself through that? all I'm saying is it must be an enormously difficult decision.
And what's he going to do now? Is he, you know, he's obviously not going to be a black cab driver because you have to have a CRB check, and you know you're not allowed to be. My brother's doing the knowledge. No, you're not allowed to. And I know family members of yours are
all taxi drivers. And that's why I feel sorry for the taxi driver, because this is just one man, and you know, I always tell my kids, get in a black cab, you're safe in a black cab, rather than picking up cabs off the street or whatever.
Yeah. But can he just jump in a minicab now, just be a local minicab driver, and no one would ever know?
Exactly, and I mean, gosh, terrible attacks happen everywhere all of the time, but under different circumstances. But I'm just thinking back to the many times in my life, and I'm sure a lot of people have been in the same situation, where you've had a night out, you're desperate to get home, you've maybe had a few drinks, you know, any sort of taxi that looks free, you're like, oh yeah, let's get in. We've all been in that moment where you're vulnerable.
And you see it as a place of safety.
Yes, you're
you know, once you're in the cab, you're kind of safe, aren't you?
Exactly.
But surely, if you just called a family member and said, you know, please come and get me, I can't get home, someone would come and pick you up.
But then we're getting back to that sort of assumption that it's a dodgy thing to get into a cab. And
well,
you
if you're
can't go down that
drunk,
road, because you've got to start from a position of trust, haven't you?
You do, but I think if you've had a few drinks, I think you're so vulnerable. I think your guard is down. You just want to get home, and I think lots of young girls put themselves in this situation. And I just think if you are in that situation, just call somebody. Don't get in a cab. Don't get on a train. But you could get attacked on a train walking home.
You told us that your brother's doing the knowledge to be a black cab driver. Wouldn't you trust him?
Well, I wouldn't go out and get silly drunk.
No, I know, but you've got to trust people.
Yeah.
Haven't you?
Yeah.
No? Well, no. Obviously not, no. I think it's...
I still would prefer a black cab driver than
I would prefer a black cab,
or whatever.
Yeah.
I just feel much safer in those.
I think it's like you say, though. I mean, I don't want to think of anyone being bad. That's basically what it is. So you wouldn't in a million years assume that something like that's going to happen to you, because you just assume this person's a good person and they're going to do their job.
Why this guy is plastered all over the front of all the newspapers because of his crimes, but because it is a very unusual situation. Yeah. It's a horrific situation. I so feel for the people involved in it, but it is a very, very unusual situation. We have to have some kind of perspective on it, I think.
I don't know, because I think there is a lot of abusers in taxi drivers that have done this. So I do think I do think that, you know, I think you're in a very vulnerable state. You know, it's late at night, you've had a few drinks. I mean, you are just a target for anyone that is going to do that. Whether it is a taxi driver, I'm not just blaming taxi drivers, taxi driver, you know, someone else that's, you know, on a night out, you know, you're just vulnerable. All I'm saying is that you are vulnerable. You've had a drink, it's late at night, you're a young woman, call somebody that you can trust and help and try and get some advice on how to get home. I think that's the best thing to do.
Yeah, be alert. It's an awful story, isn't it? OK, moving on. The time's almost here. Ollie Murr's arrival is imminent. Loads to ask Ollie, including whether he's enjoying his new role as the coach on The Voice, what he really thinks of Simon Cowell, and what about his love life. We'll find out soon.